Hey everyone, in today's tutorial we will be drawing some cars. If this picture looks familiar, it's because it's from the same photo that I have used to create the patron tutorial as well as the time-lapse video. If you want to follow along, you can download this photograph. The download link will be in the video description below. I want to draw this again because I felt that I didn't do a good enough job when it comes to drawing the original sketch on location the other day. So this is the original sketch. You see the cars here. These are the cars that I drew on location. Very sketchy. And these are the cars that I drew for the patron tutorial. Very loose and sketchy as well. You can see some of the headlights that I have added using the white gel pen. So let's start by drawing this car on the far left. Let's draw the windscreen. So get the angle of the windscreen correct. Spend a lot of time observing rather than looking at your own sketch. Spend more time looking at the subject than your own sketch. So that's the little side mirror there. And then this comes down like this. And this is the bumper. It goes across, takes up quite a lot of space. And this is the windscreen area. It goes across, stops right here. The windscreen takes up slightly less than half of the space of the front. Comes here, and this line is almost vertical, but not that vertical. Let's join the lines together. This is the frame of the car. There is another side mirror here. And this line, let's draw the top of this car. It goes down. It goes to the right side slightly and curves down slightly like this. Try and get the angle right. Now this area here, the side windows, they take up a much smaller space compared to the windscreen. And this line here is tilted, and this line here it's also tilted. It's not horizontal, it tilts up to the right side. And then here the back of the car comes out slightly like this. And this part here is where the next car will be, which is actually a taxi. So let me draw the taxi in. This is the side of the taxi. The taxi is as tall as the first car. It goes to the right side slightly. And this is that taxi sign. And this is the frame of the taxi. I can draw some lines behind the taxi sign, goes to the right side and comes down slightly like this. All right, let's continue with the first car. Let me just draw the bumper of the taxi. Now this line here, the front bumper, it stops right here beneath the frame because this is where the first wheel is. Goes up slightly like this, comes down. And this is the first wheel. Let's draw this in. This is the license plate, the lights in front. I think there are some more details here. And the bumper is a bit lower. Let me draw that. And this is the wheel on the other side. And this line here, this is horizontal. And there's another wheel here, so let's draw that wheel there. And this is the thickness of the wheel. There is another wheel right here. All right, so this is the first car. For the second car, which is a taxi, same thing. We just draw, I'm going to stop the bumper here just below the frame because this is where the wheel is. So let me just draw the wheel and then draw the line here, and then there is another wheel here. Now this line here is shorter than this line, so when you are drawing this line, pay attention to how long this line is. So you have to keep this line much shorter compared to this line here. I think this line is about half of the width of this line. There is a wheel here. There is a wheel here. So now we can draw the windscreen. Comes down here, goes across. There's the engine here, the lights, the side mirror, and the side window, and the back bumper. Let's give this wheel some thickness. All right, so that's the second car. The next car I'm going to draw is the taxi, another taxi behind. So the yellow taxi starts from here. The roof of the yellow taxi is here. This is the taxi sign. This is the back. This is the windscreen. Comes down like this. The windscreen will intersect the first taxi here. And the front of the taxi, the yellow taxi, comes here. This is the engine. I think this is the light. This is the wheel. The thickness of the wheel. The side mirror. And next, we'll draw the next car here. So let me get the angle right. Pay attention to the angle. Look at your subject when you're drawing. Spend more time on your subject rather than on your sketch. Also, when drawing cars, they will move off. So the best time to draw cars is when they are stopped at the traffic light. So right now there's a red light. That's why all the cars are stopping there. The windscreen, lights, the side mirror. Now as I start to draw the cars here, the perspective of the cars, they will start to change. So for cars on the left side, I will see more of their sides because they are further to the left. But for cars that are directly in front of me, I will see more of the front and less of the side. So the side is foreshortened. So all the features, all the details here on the side, they are now crammed together. It's a bit more difficult to sketch, but if you pay attention to the proportion, you should do fine. For example, see this line here? This line is now significantly shorter compared to this line. This line here is about half of this, but this line is maybe 1/3 of this or 1/4 of this. The wheel, the front of the car, headlights, the license plate. If you want to, you can really study the cars and draw slowly, draw them accurately. But sometimes when you're sketching, you just need to draw the impression of the car. Just draw it in such a way that they look like a car, even though they may be very sketchy. As long as it looks like a car, that is good enough. And the last car that I want to draw is this, I think it's a turquoise car. So the turquoise car comes down like this. It's very difficult for me to see the details here because it's almost black. Okay. Windscreen, the lights of the car. There are a lot of wheels. This is the wheel of the car. Okay, and now we can draw the minibus or a van behind. The van behind, I would say it's about one windscreen higher compared to this turquoise car. So let's draw it higher, like this. It will stop here because there is a bus here. The bus is about 2 times higher compared to the car. So it's here and comes goes down here, comes down like this. The bottom of the bus will coincide, the bumper will coincide here with the bumpers of the cars here. Let me draw this van or bus first. Okay, so now that I have drawn this, I can use this as a measuring tool. So this double-decker bus, the top windscreen will end here. This is where the number is going to be. I'm not sure what number it is. And this is the windscreen on the bottom. The lights, license plate. I cannot see the wheel properly. I think the wheel is somewhere around here. Let me just draw this bumper a bit darker. All right, now this bus is in perspective, so the line here will tilt down slightly. And from what I can see, the width of the front is the same as the width on the side because this bus is in perspective. So I need to draw this line down like this, and it will stop here because the width of the side is the same as the width in the front. And then I can draw it down like this. Because I was seated at on the ground or on a small stool, so my eye level is very low, and because my eye level is very low, the bottoms of all these cars, they will look horizontal. If I am standing and drawing the bottoms of the cars, they will actually be higher. The lines will tilt slightly upwards because they are going up to the vanishing point at my eye level. But because in this case my eye level is very low, that's why the lines that are here, they are very horizontal. I'm not sure if you can get what I mean by that. But the main thing is draw what you see, not what you think you see. So this is the wheel of the bus and the side of the bus. I think this is the door on the bus. I know how this side looks like because these are very typical Singapore buses. All right, and now I can draw a person on the side. I just want to draw a person on the side to give scale to all these vehicles here. So the person on the side is actually here. The head starts here, somewhere around here. And the body comes down to the bottom of the windscreen like this. And it seems that this person is carrying a plastic bag. And this is the other hand. The feet is like this. This person is walking, and the feet ends here, and this is where the other feet comes in. So this is the person on the side. So this is my sketch after a few minutes of drawing. The cars, they are more defined now compared to the original sketch. So now the cars, they look more like cars. And now let's color this sketch. I'll be using a limited color palette today. These are from the brand Blockx, B-L-O-C-K-X. This is Indian Yellow, PY154 with PO73. This is Pyro Vermilion, PO73. And this is Prussian Blue, PB27. I received these pens for testing a long time ago. I haven't used them for a very long time, so let me just add some water so that they can re-wet easily. Some colors, they dry to a rock. Hopefully that's not the case here. By the way, if you want to check out the review for Blockx, I have it on my website. The link will be in the video description below. For the first wash, I'm going to mix the three colors together to get a neutral tone. And this neutral tone will be used to color the ground. Oh my goodness. This is really difficult to dissolve. So sometimes it's good to use your colors regularly. The sable brush is too soft for scrubbing and I don't want to damage the sable brush, so I'm using a synthetic flat brush to scrub the paint. Some of the color is coming out. So this is a bit greenish. Let's add some pyro vermilion. And now this is a bit too red. So this will be on the ground. So this is, you can see that it's pretty warm because there's a lot of red in it. Let me add a bit more blue. And just add a bit more blue to it. I also want to use this color to color the bus. For the cars that are pretty dark, I'm going to use the same wash to color them as well. So it's these two cars here and this car here. I'm just going to color the windscreen and leave the top of the car here white because the light is hitting on it. For the car on the left side, it's somewhat grayish as well, but it's a warm gray, so I can probably use the same wash to color that. Too much paint. The windscreen is supposed to be dark, and the side mirrors as well, and the side mirrors and the side windows. Okay. Now for this taxi here, this is in red, this is a yellow taxi, and this is a turquoise car. So for the red, I'm going to use pyro vermilion. Let's try and color this. I think I can probably switch over to using my sable brush now. It's okay to let the colors blend over. It makes watercolor more interesting that way. So this is the red taxi, and next up is the yellow taxi. Too much water. This is Indian yellow, so it's a color that is not transparent, it's opaque or semi-opaque. So you see, as I apply onto the line art, it almost covers the ink. If you want to use opaque colors over line art, you have to dilute it until it's almost transparent, but why not use a transparent color in the first place? Anyway, I just wanted to test out this limited palette. So for this car here, which is supposed to be turquoise, turquoise. It's very difficult to mix turquoise from Prussian blue, but let's try. So this is Prussian blue mixed with Indian yellow. So this is not as turquoise as I want it to be. So this is the limitation of this particular palette. The windscreen is very dark, so let's mix a darker wash. The side as well. Let's color the front of the cars. Glaze it with another wash. Alright, this looks a bit dirty. Let's glaze the front of this taxi. It's really difficult to use this Prussian blue. I think I might have to throw away this. Front of this car. I actually like the granulation, the texture of this Prussian blue. You can see some granulation. Let's color this person. And now I just want to touch up some areas with black. Now when you touch up areas, After you have painted over with watercolor, for example, now I'm using ink over watercolor, the effect is not going to be as nice compared to watercolor over ink. I shall stop painting so as not to mess up the sketch. So now I'm going to use the white gel pen to add in some details. This is a white rim here. This car seems to have its headlights on. Maybe the bus number. Alright, so this is the completed sketch. I have also painted the color swatches up here so that I can remember the colors that I have used. These two colors, very intense. This is very opaque. Prussian blue is actually a rather intense color, but because the one that I have here, this is very old, it's very difficult to dissolve. That's why this is a bit pale compared to what it can be. I love the texture in the Prussian blue. So we have Prussian blue mixed with Pyro Vermilion and some Indian yellow. We get to see the colors within the wash. So we see traces of red, traces of blue. That's really nice. So this is Indian yellow. You can see how opaque this is. The line art is almost lost behind the color. If you want to use watercolor with line art, it's best to use transparent watercolors. And this car here is supposed to be turquoise, but with the colors that I have, it's impossible for me to mix a nice turquoise. Perhaps I should have just used Prussian blue on its own like this. Notice my style here, it's very different compared to the sketchy style of the original sketch and the patron sketch. Here it looks like it's almost a coloring book style. I try to close up all the gaps so the lines, they have no openings, they are always joined up. So when I color, it can have a coloring book style to it. By the way, the sketchbook that I'm using here is the Hanamule watercolor sketchbook. I'll review this after I've tested this sketchbook a bit more thoroughly. And that's all for my tutorial today. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. I hope this video is helpful. See you in the next one. Bye!